Liberia is a gift from God. The beauty of our land is matched only by the strength and beauty of our people. Yet, today, we must confront an uncomfortable truth. After 178 years, our nation is still not working for the majority of its citizens. And the evidence is all around us. Look outside your window, walk the streets, visit our schools, or become a patient at one of our hospitals. The truth is there for all to see. For a country as rich as ours, we should not have people as poor as ours. But this happens when a nation's budget process rewards consumption over production and political comfort over national development. This must change. If a government is truly committed to rebuilding Liberia, then that commitment must be reflected in the national budget. It must prioritize sectors that build human capital, education, agriculture, healthcare, security. These are the pillars on which every successful nation stands. Imagine in Liberia, where every child can read, where every hospital heals the sick, where every farm feeds our people, and where every community lives in safety from criminals. That is the Liberia we must begin to build today. And more importantly, build together. And it is possible. Let us stop the mindset that Liberia can never change, that Liberia can never get better. It can and it will. If other nations can do it, then damn it, so can we. Rwanda, despite a far more devastating civil war, has transformed and is now a model of stability and efficiency. Ghana, a nation once decades behind us, is now decades ahead of us. But with budgets that prioritize government over people, we will continue to remain way behind the other countries that are way behind. No country can grow when its youth are unskilled, unsupported, and unemployed. Let's consider the numbers. The combined allocation for Bong Technical College, KTTI Institute, Grand Jita Community College, Bassa Community College, Grand Cru Community College, Plebo Technical College, Nimba Community College, Sino Community College, River G Technical College, Zozo Teacher Training, and Lofa College University amount to less than $10 million. Less than $10 million for tens of thousands of Liberian students. Meanwhile, 103 lawmakers and their staff are allocated and will receive over $50 million in salaries and benefits. This must change. We spent $200,000 on Maryland Vocational Training Institute and $500,000 buying scratch cards for government officials. This must change. And it must change if Liberia is to change for the better. A nation cannot survive when its citizens are sick, untreated, and without access to basic health care. And the painful truth is this. In Liberia, the best medical advice you can get is to buy a ticket to go to a foreign country. But how many Liberians can afford that? Let's also now look at the numbers. JFK, meant to serve millions of people in our most important medical facility, was allocated $9 million. At the same time, the 6 leading political offices, the office of the president, the vice president, the speaker, deputy speaker, pro tem, and the chief justice, they all were allocated $11 million in total. Think about that. More money spent on 6 political offices than the most important medical facility in Liberia. How does that serve the people of Liberia, the poor people of this country? This must change. Now consider agriculture, a sector that, if prioritized, could transform our nation, address rural poverty, and finally give Liberia food security. Yet, year after year, we rely on rice grown in India for Liberian people to eat. The entire agricultural budget is barely $13 million, while we import over $200 million worth of rice every single year, giving our wealth and our food security to foreigners. We produce little to nothing in counties like Lofa, Bong, Margibi, Nimba, Grand Bassa, Grand Jide, and I can go on. Counties that should be Liberia's agriculture engine. And I promise you this, foreign governments and international partners who support us will never take us seriously if we continue asking them to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. This must change. In insecurity, how can we expect true safety when the men and women sworn to protect us are underpaid, undertrained, and undersupported? Many earn less than $200 every single month while watching ministers and lawmakers drive $45,000 vehicles. Is this fair? How can they protect our families while struggling to feed their families? No nation has ever developed by investing in bureaucracy over people. Yet this is what this budget, like so many others before it, is doing. 90% of total spending has gone to recurrent expenditure, with only about 10% going to the capital expenditure. In other words, for every $1 that we spend on building roads, building hospitals, building schools, we spend $9 on salaries, travel, fuel slips, entertainment, and other operational costs. If we continue spending more money on government perks than on training teachers and nurses, on supporting farmers and security officers, Liberia will never truly succeed. And this budget, as currently constituted, will not allow Liberia to succeed. The pain that the average Liberian feels and the suffering they witness daily is very real. That is why another crucial detail in this budget that is being overlooked by so many people is that the government is increasing the goods and services tax from 12 to 13%. A higher tax rate means higher prices on almost every imported good, and therefore more hardship for the ordinary Liberian. When an importer pays the 13% at the free port, that cost will 100% be passed down to the average Liberian. Take, for example, a market woman in red light. She depends on imported rice, oil, and Maggi cube to make her daily bread. If each of these items increases due to a higher tax rate, she has two choices: raise her prices and lose customers who are already struggling, or keep her prices and earn less in profit, making it even harder for her now to feed and support her own family. Either she loses or the struggling Liberian customer loses. A troubling reality at a time when families are already fighting to keep food prices low, school fees, rent, healthcare, and transportation. The cost of living is rising, but the people's income is standing still. So yes, the budget may have increased, but so too has the taxes on the average and common Liberian. Let me remind you that the national budget is meant to improve the lives of ordinary citizens. It should reduce pressure on households, not add to it. This cannot continue. I speak now directly to His Excellency, President Joseph Boyka. I do not have to work in your government to pray for you and wish you well, because your success is every one of our success. But I plead with you and your team. This budget is not the transformation that will rescue Liberia. We must build a new Liberia, A Liberia where the national budget reflects national priorities. A Liberia where the biggest investments are not in government offices, but in human capital and potential. A Liberia where schools are equipped, hospitals are functional, farms are productive, and communities are safe. A Liberia where building a strong private sector becomes a national priority, so that a government job is not the only option for college graduates. A Liberia where public officials do not live better than the people they serve. In a Liberia where lawmakers do not grow wealthy on the backs of the Liberian people. We need a budget that does not allocate tens of millions of dollars to lawmakers under the corrupt practice of legislative projects. Because if lawmakers are making the laws, carrying out oversight, and now executing development projects, then what exactly is the role of the executive? What becomes of local government? This is not their job. It is not development. This is politics disgustingly disguised as progress. And in reality, it undermines our superintendents, our county administrators, our entire local governance. The local governance was established to ensure that we deliver real, sustainable development to the people of this country. This fight is for the future of Liberia, our shared destiny. Therefore, the choice before us is clear. Continue the same budgetary patterns that recycle poverty and inequality, or insist on a transformational system that will build a new Liberia. We can rise. We can build. We can transform, but only if we take action now. Because if we do not act now, who will? If we do not demand accountability today, then when? If we do not fix a budget that by any honest readings favor government officials over the citizens, then when will we get out of this trap of poverty that we are currently in? I repeat, Liberia is too rich for Liberians to be this poor. That must end. Liberia deserves better. Our children deserve better. Our future demands better. And if we stand together, committed, disciplined, courageous, then Liberia's best days will not be behind us.